Welcoming you all to the Library of Birmingham for the City UK's annual National Conference. And I echo his thanks to our sponsors for today's events, PwC, Guernsey Finance and State Street. Arriving at the library this morning, it was sobering to reflect that all the knowledge and insight contained in the books on the shelves of the library are now accessible to you on your smartphone. Tangible evidence of the relentless march of technology. Our theme today is the role of our industry in enabling the national growth agenda. The twin imperatives of growth and innovation, which will feature heavily in our conversations here today, are also central to discussions being held around the world, where governments in many countries and from all parts of the political spectrum are acknowledging the need to generate higher rates of economic growth if we're to meet the aspirations of our citizens with respect to their quality of life. Our new government has made economic growth the centrepiece of their ambition for the country and have also recognised the need for government to partner with the private sector to achieve this growth. Most importantly, in both their Invest 2035 modern industrial strategy and the financial services growth and competitiveness strategy, they recognise the prominent role that the UK's financial and related professional services industry will play in enabling that growth. Our government is fortunate indeed that in the UK we have a financial services industry that both spans all the nations and regions of the UK and is also a leader globally. Birmingham built its position as the UK's second city in the 19th century as the UK became the workshop of the world. And as Miles has already commented, the city's position is underpinned today by its role as a major financial hub, generating £4.7 billion of economic output in 2022 and accounting for over 40% of the 178,000 jobs provided by our industry across the region. Outside London, Birmingham is the #1 destination for many of our industry's leading firms. Think Deutsche Bank, Deloitte, DLA Piper, PwC, Goldman Sachs and HSBC, to name a few. It also boasts the UK's fastest growing tech sector, worth £15.3 billion, and hosts an ecosystem of over 200 fintech companies. Beyond Birmingham, the financial and related professional services industry is a national champion, paying more corporation tax than any other sector and contributing over £110 billion to the public purse last year. We are surely playing our part in funding essential services across the UK. Across the country, we account for 12 out of every £100 of economic output and employ 1 in every 13 people in work. That's over 2.4 million people, and 2/3 of these jobs are based outside London. And beyond the borders of the UK, our industry generates an annual trade surplus of more than £90 billion. In short, financial and related professional services are a strategic national asset, a growth accelerator, and a powerful motor for our economy. In recent months, some of the fog of uncertainty which has generated headwinds for the country have been lifted. In the UK, we've had a change of government, offering the possibility of stability and predictability, which have been sorely lacking in recent years. The new government has made its budget choices, enabling businesses to plan with greater clarity. And elections in the United States have delivered an unambiguous result. Of course, not everything is resolved, particularly on the continent of Europe, with elections due in Germany and the EU Commission yet to take office. We also still have an unresolved major land war in Europe for the first time in 80 years. And while we'll never enjoy as much certainty as we would like, this library should inspire us to be the authors of our own story. And UK financial and related professional services must feature on every page and in every chapter. We are a protagonist in the national drama, and there is much work to do if we're going to live happily ever after. Let me name 3 chapters in that story where our industry is uniquely positioned to support the government's mission of driving real, measurable, and inclusive growth across the UK. Building up, branching out, and thinking green. First, building up. We've quite literally got to build bridges across the country to jumpstart productivity with capital investment in the country's infrastructure. As our Victorian forebears understood, foreign and domestic business thrives on solid public infrastructure. Today, that means everything from transportation and telecommunications to technology and data. But the UK has ranked lowest in the G7 for rates of investment since the 1990s. Tech and data infrastructure requirements, in particular, are rapidly increasing and are critical for the future health and competitiveness of our economy. Boosting investment is essential for regional hubs like Birmingham, creating jobs, freeing up mobility, and supplying the predictable long-term funding to make economic growth a reality. As such, our industry is keen to work not just with central government, but also with mayors and other devolved leaders to connect capital with the vital projects that will shape the future. Positioned alongside our financial pillars, our capital markets, our banks, our pension and investment funds, and our insurance companies, the National Wealth Fund could prove a great aid to investment, building confidence by promoting incentives to invest, all the while leveraging industry expertise and working with regional mayors to target the unique growth needs in their local areas. So it's good to hear the government's confirmation that HS2 will run between Birmingham and Euston, and that both national and regional leaders are keen to invest further in vital transportation infrastructure connecting our thriving regional hubs. And Birmingham is set to revive its Camp Hill line, which will serve as a vital artery to the heart of the city, helping to mobilize talent towards emerging opportunities. While elsewhere across the region, the Coventry and Warwick Gigapark has an important role to play in powering the UK's electrified future. Next, to make gains on growth, we've got to branch out. To me, that means in innovation and supporting emerging industries and businesses deploying new and exciting technologies. And it's also about supporting the transition of old businesses using new technology to improve our productivity and to decarbonize our environment. Our industry has been using AI safely and effectively for several years, and now the rise of generative AI holds unfathomable potential to revolutionize every sector of the economy. It's promising to see the government launch an action plan to capture the opportunities available to the UK in this space. As a primary investor in and promoter of tech innovation and cybersecurity resilience, our industry is well placed to showcase these benefits. Mobilizing the UK's world-class research base is the key to getting ahead in tech. That's an ecosystem of top-class universities like those here in the West Midlands, generating over £2 billion in spin-out investment, and a thriving R&D network of nearly 300 tech incubators and accelerators. I see the power of these incubators every day in my day job at Lloyds, where we host startup businesses in the Lloyds Lab. Over 100 startups have participated in the lab, delivering significant innovation in products and services to the insurance market during the 5 years since it was formed. And that brings me to thinking green, financing the net zero transition, reversing biodiversity loss, delivering green energy security. These are the challenges that can be met by our industry. The UK has proven itself a leader in sustainable finance, able to direct long-term capital, funding, expertise, and insurance to address our generation's biggest risk. Finance has the power to lead the transition. We're able to accelerate and scale investment, manage risk, and boost confidence for green projects. By way of example, in the Lloyds insurance market, we're developing products to ensure against leakage from commercial-scale carbon capture and storage facilities, and to ensure the validity of carbon credits. Strengthened domestic policy frameworks can complement work like this and can mobilize private finance to invest in green growth. A clear, coherent, and internationally aligned sustainable finance regulatory framework will play a crucial role in supporting financial services to manage the risks and opportunities of the net zero transition and enable the UK to remain an attractive destination for green investment. This would also help increase funding for low-carbon projects. Building up, branching out, and thinking green provide fertile ground for our collaboration with government and with each other. To succeed, we'll need to take risks and we'll need to nurture a culture of smart risk-taking. As the Chancellor said in her recent Mansion House speech, we have been regulating for risk and we need to regulate for growth. I have already detected positive change in the approach taken by regulators in the sectors in which I work, acting where appropriate to reduce administrative and cost burdens in some areas and accelerating the timetable for regulatory approvals in others. For sure, there's much more work to do, but a shared focus on improving our country's competitiveness will reap rewards which will lift growth and benefit all of the people of this country. The UK financial and related professional services industry is a unique growth asset. Our speakers and panelists today will amplify the opportunities ahead, and I hope you will end the day invigorated by the possibilities in front of us. Taking this library as inspiration and taking ownership of our own narrative, I'd like to end by asking each of you a question. What chapter will you help write in our national story? Thank you for listening.